Hey guys, this is Becca. Welcome back to my channel. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 boys, and this video is all about how our 2017-2018 homeschool year went. So I'm just going to go subject by subject in my lesson plan book and give you guys an overview of what we did and how we ended up liking everything, and then overall how I feel like the year went for us. So I am just going to get right to it and talk about the Bible curriculum that we used this year. It wasn't necessarily a curriculum as much as it was a devotional style, Bible reading plan. We used the Action Bible this year, which we read to the boys in its entirety a few years ago when they were a little bit younger, and they really enjoyed it. Overall, we thought it was okay. We probably won't use it again. The boys and I felt like some of the verbiage in there was a little, I don't want to say dumbed down, because overall it was a great devotional, but some of it was a little on the cheesy side, and the boys would make comments about that a little bit here and there as well. So again, overall the illustrations are great. That aspect of it was great, but the devotional end of it, I probably feel like it could have been a little bit better, but I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we tried it. Moving on to history and geography. Most of you guys know that have been sticking around for a while that we have used the Simply Charlotte Mason history and geography curriculum for the last 5 years. So this was our 5th full year to complete that portion of the curriculum. And of course, the mainstay that I'm always loving is all of the living books that the boys get to read. I'm in love with Stories of America and Stories of the Nations. To date, I think those are 2 of the best books we've read for history so far. The living book selections are always out of this world. The boys love all of the books this year that they read for history. And of course we used Hungry Planet and What the World Eats for when we would do visits to different countries and meet the families that live in those different countries and see what they eat and what mom and dad do and what kiddos do for school and what a typical day looks like for them, and just a little bit about their family. So overall, it was the same, geography that we've done the last 5 years. History overall was the same, with the exception of adding several more independent readers for both of the boys since they're getting a little bit older. So more independent reading time on their end. We recently made the decision to switch our history and geography curriculum from Simply Charlotte Mason, and we'll be using Beautiful Feet curriculum next year for World and American History and Geography. I am so excited. When I posted that on Instagram, I had a few messages pop up asking what led us to that decision or why we were switching from Simply Charlotte Mason. And really the easiest answer is we've been doing Simply Charlotte Mason since our first year in homeschooling. And so 5 years is a pretty long time to stick with the same curriculum. And I have been looking at Beautiful Feet for a couple of years. They were at our homeschool convention here in our area a few weeks ago, and it just spoke to my heart when I was standing there at the booth and talking to those awesome ladies. And so went ahead and took the plunge and made the decision to use Beautiful Feet next year. So we'll be doing that for World and American History and also Geography, which I'm super excited about because Geography will include all of the hauling books next year. And they actually send you like art grade maps. And we use special markers and map pencils to shade in and trace and do all sorts of really cool labeling and stuff. And you can frame the maps when you're done, which would be great to hang here in the schoolroom. So I'm really, really excited about that. So our read aloud list, I should have put the books right here because I'm not remembering everything we read out loud. But you guys know that we love the All of a Kind Family series. So we're about to start All of a Kind Family Uptown for summer reading. And then we're hoping to get through the Pinderwicks and Trumpet of the Swan as well this summer. But read aloud time, as you guys know, is one of my favorite things to do in homeschool. We do it every single day, and the memories that we have sitting there reading books together and talking about them is just like one of my favorite things about homeschooling, period. Okay, moving on to math. We're continuing to use Math-U-See. This year, we'll continue it next year. It went great this year. I love Math-U-See. The boys love Math-U-See. We did the digital pack this year, so I didn't buy a teacher manual. I didn't buy the DVD. We just do all of that online on the computer now. I'll grab my iPad if the boys are in the living room doing school, and they can watch their video, and I can check their work on my iPad, so it's been great. Don't foresee us switching from Math-U-See just because it's worked so well for us. So of course, this year I was happy with it. Highly recommend it, and that's where we stood for math this year. Science. Okay, this is something that we are going to keep with the Apologia curriculum, but overall, I did not realize this year how much time it would actually take us to get through one lesson. So I chose Exploring Creation, Anatomy, and Physiology, and we didn't even get through half of the book. I don't know if it's just us or if, we moved too slow. One lesson consists of 4 parts, and each part took us at least an hour to get through. It's a lot of reading, a lot of notebooking, which I love. I love the notebooking aspect of it, but sometimes I was sitting there reading it is a living textbook, so that was great. But overall, I guess I didn't realize how long it was going to take us. So wished we could have gotten through a little bit more of the curriculum. The boys learned what they learned, and overall, I'm on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm about at a 6 with us getting through the book and the notebooking and, things that the boys retained from this year in science. Next year, we'll be using Apologia as well, but the boys want to do 2 different sciences. So Isaiah will take his book that he's chosen, and Elijah will take his. They'll read certain portions of the living textbook and do the appropriate notebook pages that they need to do. So, but I will tell you exactly what those things are when I do our curriculum choices 2018-2019 video here in the next few weeks. And then, of course, we always do our nature journaling. That is great. Elijah loves it more than Isaiah does. Isaiah's not a real big artist. He doesn't really particularly enjoy painting or drawing or sketching. So I don't force it with him. I let him go outside and just choose to sketch and draw whatever he might want to draw. I do ask him to do his best work, and I know when he's trying and when he's not. So overall, that went pretty good this year. Elijah enjoys it more than Isaiah does, so his work is a little more intricate, and he has a little bit more detail and takes a little bit more time. But that's okay because they are outdoors, and, it's all about being outdoors and just observing things on your own. Okay, so that's how science and nature journaling went. We did use the Simply Charlotte Mason nature journals this year. We probably won't use those again next year. I'm probably just going to get each of them their own sketchbooks, and we'll kind of put into place just, something they're particularly interested in, trees or birds or whatever, and make special time to take some trips to some hiking trails or some parks or even some things in the backyard, because we've noticed as we've homeschooled, different things come back in different seasons, birds and different plants and flowers that we have in the backyard. So that's always interesting. Moving on to language arts. I recently did a video on the Simply Charlotte Mason Spelling Wisdom and Using Language Well curriculum books that we've used the last few years, and this is another change that we're making this year. And again, it's really because we've used the curriculum for about 3 years, and I just wanted to get more of a creative writing aspect injected into language arts. And so we decided to go with My Father's World for grammar and writing. So that is what we'll be using next year. we'll just kind of pick up where both of their levels are in Simply Charlotte Mason and just kind of transfer that over to My Father's World and be using that next year. Overall, it went fine. We did grammar about 3 days a week, and it was pretty straightforward as usual. Reading the passage, which is a quote or a chunk of scripture or a passage from a classic book or poem, reading that and then applying grammar concepts that she has in her grammar book, which is called Using Language Well, to do the grammar portion. So then there's lots of dictation and copy work included in that, checking for grammar and punctuation, and also that they're using their best handwriting. So yeah, pretty straightforward, but like I said, I wanted to interject some creative writing and just kind of change it up a little bit since we've been doing Simply Charlotte Mason for so long. Last but not least, our Enrichment Studies, which you guys know is some of my favorite stuff to do in homeschooling. So we will continue our picture study next year. Loved it. I am always so impressed with the Simply Charlotte Mason picture study portfolios. This year we did Gainsborough and what was the other one we did? Should have had it right here with me. Anyways, I'm always super impressed with that, like I said. So we will continue to buy the portfolios, which come with several laminated paintings and then a little booklet that tells how to do picture study. It always has a biography of the painter and then gives a picture on each page of the painting that's in there and a little information on the painting and some leading thoughts on it. So we will forever use that, probably through high school, because it is one of my favorite things to date. And then our second part of enrichment is our poetry study, and we will continue Poetry Tea Time next year. We love reading Shel Silverstein during that time, but we are also going to have another poet or two that we look at throughout the year, hopefully do some memorization. So most Wednesdays will be Poetry Tea Time. However, we will interject just a regular poetry study for us as well, which will be looking at one particular poet and reading a biography on him or her, and reading 1 or 2 poems a week and memorizing. And then last but not least is our music or composer study. And this year we just did a hodgepodge of some of our favorite composers. So all year long we listened to Bach and Tchaikovsky and Chopin. So it was nice this year just kind of listening to the same music that we've been listening to for a while. So yeah, that is how our enrichment study for this school year went. Super happy with everything. Love picture study, love Poetry Tea Time. Love learning and listening to different composers. And overall, I am so happy with how our school year went. I've mentioned it in other videos, but one of my favorite aspects of homeschooling is the rich literature that the boys get to read pretty much throughout every subject. So that is always great. I always get to the end of the year and look at all the books the boys have read, and I'm just so thrilled for them that they get the opportunity to read classic and great literature like that. So we were a little behind in math from the previous year. So we will be doing math starting this week and doing several weeks of it. And then I told the boys I would give them a 2 or 3 week break right before we start school so they don't have to worry about any school. But we do need to make up about 10 lessons in our math books. So we typically take a summer break. We're off for about 3 months, but I gave them about 2.5 weeks on the front end of summer, and I'll give them about 2.5 weeks on the back end of summer. But I do want to get some of that in this summer so we're not super far behind next year. Guys, that is kind of just a quick rundown, a year in review of our 2017-2018 homeschool year. I mentioned a few different things for us in this video, and I'm going to be making some videos on those things and showing you guys the beautiful feat, history, and geography curriculum, and then doing one big video like I did last year with all of our curriculum choices for the 2018-2019 homeschool year. I'm so happy to be making this video today. I haven't posted a video in several weeks. So I'm happy to be sitting here chatting with you guys. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them in the comments for you. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing by clicking the red subscribe button. And if you want a notification, click the little bell next to that to be sure that you get a little ding on your phone or iPad whenever I post a video. It was so good to sit and chat with you guys. I hope everyone is having a great day. Until next time.